we're watching live stream right now. Michael Knowles is on the Whatever podcast. Everything about it was like dating and marriage and all this stuff, and now they're getting pro-life. Now it's getting like super awesome. So we're gonna take a look at it as this is going live, recorded of course. But like, let's get into it. Let's go. Let's go.
Just bettering, like, are you doing something to better that?
Yeah, well, the way to prevent rape would be to get tougher on crime, and it would be to circumscribe certain sexual behaviors, right, and stop, I would say probably stop encouraging a hookup culture that makes it a little bit easier. So you can do all sorts of things like that. And then what do you do for like a young woman who's already pregnant? What do?
So just to kind of preface what was going on here, so like they were talking about dating, right? And so one of the questions was like, would you date a conservative? And then another question popped up, would you date a pro-life? And all the women were like, hell no, right? And so like we're leading into this, and some of them were like saying like things that was like actually kind of positive. They're like, I don't like abortion. I don't think abortion's beautiful or whatever. And then he was like, well, why is that, right? And so we're just getting into the mix of it, right? No.
What's up?
I was just wondering what you're doing.
Oh, I had to go to the bathroom and I got a nice pack.
For what?
Neck pain. I got old man over here. I've got arthritis or something. So you also looked at me, Kiko, and you wanted to. Why don't you and Michael have a little debate on this?
Well, Kiko and I agree.
Oh,
I think we agree on pretty much everything.
No.
What do we disagree on?
I'm pro-choice. I'll never change. I will never waver. Not a single thing I could be seen, said to me, anything. I'm not changing my opinion. So we might as well not even debate on it, because it doesn't seem like he's changing his opinion either.
But I did change my opinion, because I used to be.
So you're willing to change back your opinion?
Well, I'm.
Then you don't sound 100% true to what you believe. I am, so I know I'm not going to change.
No,
so we can then if you want to debate. If you think you possibly change back.
In the face of compelling evidence, I could change any opinion.
One thing, really quick.
Me too, usually. But then some things you're just set in stone on, and this is one of those.
Is
things
it maybe because you're afraid that you'll find compelling evidence that would convince you?
Oh yes, yes, yes.
Are you guys comfortable having this conversation?
Yeah, go ahead.
You guys are fine? Okay.
So beyond comfortable.
Oh, beyond comfortable.
Yeah, let's have it. Ooh.
Yes, let's go. Let's go.
So long as you guys are fine having a little debate, I think, and the great thing about debate is that you can it can help you reaffirm your position. Or perhaps challenge.
Yeah, I mean, just really quick, as Brian is talking, I probably should have muted, but like obviously giving commentary while I'm doing this is like, you know, Michael Knowles had that other person on his show, right, talking about all this stuff, and obviously Michael Knowles had talked about pro-life stuff. So I'm really interested in what is going to bring to the table, because he's such a powerhouse.
Because I feel like the research is already done. We've already taken away the law, put it back. We've already seen the negatives and positives from it. So why are we repeating history? We've already done this multiple times now.
What law?
When we banned abortion back in, what was it?
You know, if anything, The Last of Us reminds me, even though it's a fictional show with mushroom zombies, strip away civilization and you'll go back into slavery, you'll go back into cannibalism, you're going to go back into like barbarian biblical times. So her like, to say that we're not like civilized, we're still sacrificing children. So
that would be racist, right?
No, I mean, because the issue was, the reason why we're getting back here is because the highest percentage of people having abortions are African American women or minority women in general.
Right. The majority of black babies in New York City are being killed. But the most dangerous place for a black person in New York City is in his mother's womb. That's very racist. I agree.
Isn't
and Planned Parenthood targets the black.
Can we not be calling them babies? Yeah, they're.
What are you?
They're fetuses.
Well, have you been to a fetus shower? I'm with child. That's what it is.
Is that better?
And embryo is another term, but the word fetus is a Latin word that means offspring. So it means baby.
Isn't like the, I don't know, I think it's in Freakonomics that they wrote about the fact that throwing away decreased the crime rate in New York.
Yeah. This was an argument that was really compelling to me. I actually made this argument to a bioethicist she was very pro-life. And not Bronte. I wouldn't say she was the top bioethicist I talked to. But I made this argument. I said, well, no, I'm really in favor of abortion because the Freakonomics book told me that it decreases the crime rate. You know, if you abort these babies. And she said, cool, Michael, which of those arguments is not also an argument for killing young black men in the inner cities, age 18 to 25? And the problem is...
They have life.
Well, the babies have life. Or
They
we call it
don't.
fetus. No, they have life. They,
No.
Well,
no one-
they have life experiences. They have no. How are you alive if you have no
Consciousness.
memories? You have no conscious. How are you a living,
Should
breathing
you
thing
be
if you have
able-
no conscious?
Should you be able to kill somebody who's in a coma, who's unconscious?
Honestly, yeah. If I was a vegetable, why are we having
if you're
people on
just gonna
ventilators who are vegetables for years?
No, but
Honestly, my true opinion, yes, they should be dead
Yeah,
too.
I
Even if
agree
you
with
pull the
that.
fucking plug.
Even if
Yeah.
you can come out of the coma at
What?
some point? Because people can be in a coma for years and they come out of the coma. But you
Yeah.
think just kill them anyway?
Okay,
Honestly,
but
if you're gonna be on a
talking about
ventilator
life,
for
but the thing is,
6
are you
to-
vegan?
yeah.
Are you
Full plug.
vegetarian? Do you really care that
No,
much about
I'm
life?
talking about human life.
So
are you gonna be a foster parent?
I mean, have you talked to vegans? A lot of vegans are actually pro-choice. So, like, their argument is they're willing to kill life.
Lower animals, we have a rational will.
So I'm saying, yeah, because we're
we'll
more
have
rational,
it.
we have a higher...
So consciousness,
intel-
that's
yeah,
what
I just
makes
said.
it the difference.
No, but the rational soul is not merely the expression.
I just feel
of
like you
one's
shouldn't call it
conscious
pro-life,
decisions.
because I don't really think you're pro-life. Maybe you're pro...
Even
She's gonna say pro-birth.
when you pull it from the ground.
Carrots. I agree. I agree.
Yeah. No, I mean, ultimately the image, because you brought up religion.
Brian!
Right, that's
So
why man is
once
such a
again,
religion.
it's religion for you. That's your main
But
argument.
everything ultimately is religious because that's the fun.
What if I'm not religious?
Yeah.
I don't believe in that.
Well, everybody's religious in some
No.
way. Because
No.
well, you just admitted that you believe some things are better than other things.
How
So-
does that
How
have to
does
do
it
with
make
religion?
Well, so
religion?
that's a moral.
That's a
view.
moral high ground.
So
yeah, but it has
where
nothing
does
to do
your
with
morality derive from?
the universe?
I don't need
spirituality.
a religion to
Well,
tell me what's good or bad.
is
It's
Is
common
murder
sense
good
most
or
of the time
bad?
What's good or bad,
Where
not
does your
from
common-
God telling me.
Yep.
Where does that common sense come
Like
from?
you weren't just you didn't one. I feel like from the time I was able to have any belief, I didn't need somebody to tell me it's wrong for me to kill somebody. I didn't need
You
somebody
were-
to tell
you
me
were
it's
ready
wrong
ki-
if my
willing
son
to
was
kill the
killing
person
me.
that
I'm
was in
an
a
only
coma.
child, too. So I didn't need to be taught that. That's just something that
Like, murder's bad, but I'm willing to kill the person in a coma.
Right, that's called your moral conscience, and because
and I
you're
didn't
rational.
need God to do that. It was just me
Well, you're
being a human.
God gave you your moral conscience and created the
Have
moral.
you
That's
told
actually
God?
a thing.
Like,
That's
I
a
don't know
true
where
thing.
But furthermore,
Yeah, all of a
you
sudden
do have
God.
someone now telling you a view of right and wrong that
Me.
is different than the one that you have.
Me,
no, you-
my
No,
brain.
no.
My subconscious tells me.
But you also have me telling you. And so you say.
But I don't
so-
listen to you. I listen to me.
But you might be listening to me. You're listening to me right now.
I'm listening to you speak, but I wouldn't listen to anything you do and put it in action.
But
That's
you might.
the
You might. It's a problem.
My ears work, yes, but
Right now,
am I taking it in?
You say abortion is fine, and I
Yes.
say abortion is bad.
Yes.
How do you know which one of us is right? How do
You
you know that
don't,
you're
because
right?
humans know nothing really. You
No, I
don't
think
know
I
what
know
li-
certain
Well, I
things.
know, but
Not a
really,
lot, but-
I mean, I think the argument where life begins is useless because I don't think based on that you're not going to change someone else's mind because everybody has strong beliefs. I think
Well,
it's
that's a great point because it doesn't matter when life begins so much as what life means.
yeah. So it means so many different things to people. So I just think it's useless to argue over that. I think it's better to argue what we can do.
Dig Big Energy. Thank you for the 200
Very true.
TTS. Thank you there. Interesting name you have there. Thank you. Go ahead, Kiko. You wanted to.
Well, because I agree with what you're saying, but we said we're debating for fun, so that's the reason why I'm doing it, because I know whatever. You said, how do I know I'm right? Well, I mean, this is also objective too, but like for me, like I know I'm right because like every state with the most educated people here like are still, you know, pro-choice. And like the states with like, you know, not that many educated people usually are the ones that are pro-life.
Well, I'm
So-
relatively educated, right?
I'm not saying you're not.
But I'm
Is
pro-life.
New York pro-choice? Is New York?
New York is
Well, now I live in Tennessee.
Yeah, so didn't, okay.
Tennessee.
Oh.
That makes sense.
Do I have to?
Yeah.
No, I just. But if you're saying educated
I mean, I just feel like
people are not
if you
pro-life,
grab
I'm
somebody from
relatively
Tennessee
educated.
versus if you grab people from California and you find the most overall, I feel like the
majority.
The majority is going to probably be from California and not from.
I mean, Michael's boosting up the average, I think.
Well,
Because it's so small, right?
No,
Because one
I
Yale, you throw one Yale into Tennessee, you're.
No, but I also don't have a ton of respect for people who have all these credentials. I mean,
Yeah.
my fellow Yaleys believe all sorts of things that are insane. I mean, they don't know the difference between a man and a woman. So I'm not surprised that they can't tell what life is about. You know.
But also, I feel like I'm just gonna set this from the start. You and Brian don't really get a say in this because
Why
you
not?
can't.
Oh my
have kids.
goodness.
No
Can't
uterus,
birth
no
No,
kids.
I have 2 kids.
No, did you birth them? Did they come out of your vagina?
No. But I did help to make them. And the other, even if I didn't have kids, the other reason I would have some say over this is because I have rational faculties and I can come to conclusions about things that don't involve me. For instance, if I were an oncologist, I wouldn't necessarily need to have cancer to know something about.
You can
cancer
have
to
like
operate.
you can have a say, but you're not gonna have the final say. It's not your choice. It's not your body.
Why would it not be? I'm the head of my household.
Well, so you control
think
your
that- I
wife's
think
body. You tell her when and what to do, every move to make. You tell like
Not every move to make,
What she's
but
trying-
I've got quite a lot of say over it. Yeah.
Can I say?
Oh,
What
right.
she's trying to say is that why do we restrict women and tell them what to do if we have to restrict the men? Because they're the ones who don't take the responsibility for what they have done.
No, men have to
You
take
just,
responsibility.
you don't know how many guys invited me over their house on the first date. It is disgusting to say every time no.
Just real quick, the conversation of it's the no uterus, no voice type of thing, right? And that's just like if someone applied and was agreeing to your position, you wouldn't say that to that person, right? It's only because he's on the opposite side that you're willing to say no uterus, no voice per se. She didn't say those words, but that's a general idea, right?
Because it's the only way, the only thing they can give guys like right now. Maybe they don't see a value.
Doesn't that? You're so right about that. But doesn't that tell you that those guys are just dirtbags and you should go to?
But there are so many of them. So what should I do then?
Get
Should
find
I?
a better guy.
Where?
Do you know a
place?
Maybe at church, the religion stuff that you don't want to talk about.
Abortions are not good, they're bad, but I feel like they're needed in some scenarios. I don't think like pro-choice means all girls should be having sex like
and having abortion as birth
unprotected
control.
and just like that should be plan B is having an abortion, but I feel like there are instances where like you don't realize that you're pregnant or just something goes wrong. I feel like it shouldn't be on like legal terms. It's way more about the situation.
But you need a law. Either it's legal or it's illegal. Right?
But
You have to decide.
but if it's illegal, like that doesn't mean everyone's gonna get an abortion.
So
it's
why,
just that they have the
why
right.
do you think it's bad? Because I get the pro-abortion argument, which is the baby's not really a baby, it's not life, it's not human, forget about it. It's just
But
like getting
I
your
think
appendix.
it's bad because it's a sad thing to go through. Period.
Yeah,
Why is it sad?
Like,
Why is it sad though?
because it's like you have to do something. Because I don't think people really are going in there and being like, I want to kill this fetus. Like,
Well,
it's
there
not
are.
Like, no one's going to be like, I'm going to kill.
Have you seen the things where they're pro-abortion? Like you have Miley Cyrus licking an abortion healthcare cake.
And she didn't know she was pregnant, and she was on birth control, and she found out she was 5 months pregnant, and she was like, I cannot have this kid. Like, there's no way. I'm in high school. This girl couldn't do
Why
it.
couldn't she just have the kid give him?
Treat the crisis. Don't kill the baby.
Changes your whole life.
You say that like it's the easiest thing in the
ever,
world
like,
to just
Well, you're
carry.
talking about abortion like it's the easiest
It's
thing.
not. It's not.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
your
they're
life
both from-
changes so much more after that fact.
You know you're having a
You
kid out there
imagine
that's
being
like your
15
kid.
Guys, one
now
at a
you're-
time. One at a time, please.
Otherwise, you know you have a kid in the ground because you killed the kid.
No,
Wouldn't
they're
you
not going
rather
to be in the
have
ground
a
because
kid?
they're not big enough to be buried. They're not going to. They
Well,
would be disintegrated within. They would decompose
it
within
depends on when-
hours.
I think
Honestly,
at 5 months the baby's pretty.
So
large.
are you pro-life
Where
at
at
a
5
certain
months?
point? Or
What is
just
5
from
That's
conception?
just what
Well,
you mentioned.
that was just
No,
like
I
an
mean,
experience
sorry,
from a girl that we knew
pro-life,
in
like,
high
Guys,
school.
hold on, one microphone
Yeah.
at a time. Well,
Yeah.
I'll get you after Tatum.
I was just wondering if it's like after 3 months or after.
No, from the
conception.
beginning. I don't think it. I don't think it makes sense to just pick an arbitrary date and say, okay.
it's
6 months
that's
is
why it's
enough.
arbitrary though, because it's supposed to be by each case by case, because we can't tell when every embryo is going to be viable outside
No,
of
but I'm
the
not
womb.
saying Bible. I'm saying from the beginning.
That's what, but
Then
that's not.
what about,
that's
like-
what you think. But what we're saying is why it's case by case is because we don't want to say, oh, we're gonna ban after 20 weeks. You can't. When some babies might be viable at 18
But I don't
weeks.
care when it's
So that's. Can I finish my statement?
I'm just saying.
So,
you're
go
putting
ahead.
a standard that I don't think.
Kiko, you go, then Michael, then Tatum.
I forgot it. I threw that.
Okay.
As someone was writing a message.
We'll get to it later. Michael, did you have a response?
Yes, well,
or-
just in response to that point, because Kiko was focusing on, well, at what point is the baby viable to live outside the mother's womb? But that isn't the question that matters. The question that matters is, when is this thing a human? When is this thing alive? And the only answer to that question, just by definition, is at the moment of conception, because conception just means the beginning of life.
I agree with you. Well, it's just sad scenarios, like if a kid is born to drug addicted parents.
Well, they could give the baby up for adoption.
Yeah, but
Do you really think
sometimes
they're gonna make
they
that
don't-
smart choice if they're
I mean-
drug addicted parents?
Yeah, I don't think there's like enough structure to.
Well, if there's-
So you're saying any life is better than the bad life.
Yeah, I'm saying life is better than being killed.
I agree with you.
All life is better than being killed.
I guess another argument is like, what if a girl is young enough, right, and she's so desperate that she's gonna go somewhere else or do it herself or something. Like
Well,
that.
you know, it's
How do you
interesting
prevent that?
because you're saying that illegal abortions would be more dangerous,
Yeah, I guess
but they're
that's
not
my
actually.
issue.
This is the weird thing. In the year before Roe v. Wade was allowed abortion everywhere, do you know how many women died from illegal back alley abortions in America?
What if the
39.
Really?
And 24 women died from legal abortions.
So you pro illegal abortion?
No, I'm anti all abortion. But when you look at the number of states where it was legal, illegal abortions were roughly the same.
All right, so I'm just gonna end it there. The whole podcast, and I watched it live, was like 3 hours plus long. I couldn't believe that I actually watched like majority of it. But I'll just give like again. So I'll link the link below so you can see it in its entirety and everything. But a few highlights here, and I think one of the best things is that one, that these ladies got to hear from a conservative voice when maybe they most likely would not have. So Michael being there was really awesome, and they actually had really good reception when it came to Michael. They even said it on the podcast, like Michael was good on like being very explanatory and giving them good like stuff. They probably didn't change their mind on the pro-choice side, but with everything else, they were very receptive with all that. A big portion of what they were not receptive was the God stuff that Michael Knowles was pitching. Not that I disagree with that approach. It's just like if you're I appreciate it in a different way. You know, when it comes to a lot of pro-life advocates and apologetics, it usually deals with secular stuff so you can reach the people who are not religious. But, you know, to promote the gospel, to promote Christianity is always a plus. And maybe it may not be working in this instant. It may be work in a different instance. They'll probably revisit it maybe if the Holy Spirit manifests in them and what have you. But I think this was a really great interaction. Again, just for the fact that these women and people even watching the podcast, this is probably like maybe the first time they're hearing some of these arguments, especially coming from Michael Knowles. And I think that is very important because this is how we are going to be able to talk about this. And I also appreciate, while many of these women are very pro-choice, I can appreciate at least many of them were, and you can see some of the falter, right? They didn't like abortion. They don't want to use abortion as a contraceptive, you know, and so there are portions where it was still somewhat moderate, but they just wanted the access, as they would put it, available, whatever. And so I'll just leave it there. You know, again, it was a great interaction. I think I really like this. And so I didn't want to spend too much on this video. It's already super long already. But I just want to give the little clip about it, reaction about it, and give my 2 cents at the closing. So thanks again for watching this video. Please hit that like, share, and subscribe, and see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. You can follow me on my Instagram at HeyMitch. I'm also on Twitter, Maverick Mitch, and see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Peace, peace, peace. Be with you. Ikaw espiritu tuo.